Hi guys, we're back. Sorry about that. A little bit longer than expected, but we are good to go. Got Zombie Grub's kitty cat there in camera.
It's a little messed up foot. It's so weird. Doesn't like when I touch it. Close.
Alright, well I'm ready to go whenever the players are. So this is, again, a qualifying match. This best of 3 will determine one of the 2 players to get through this qualifier. We do have a losers bracket, and as stated before, you still got Solar, Classic, Trust, Ryung, Bunny, Stats, and Lenok all competing. Oh, Stats and Lenok, that's another one I would have really liked to seen.
Oh well.
Yeah, well. Say la vie. But that being said, it's going to be cool to see some Terrans get through, as it's guaranteed to be one of these 2 players. However, it is game number 1, and this guy has shown excessively good TvT recently. Again, having not just defeated Ryung a little bit ago, also defeating his opponent that he's fighting now 2-0 earlier this week. In the top right, it's going to be aLive.
aLive beat Bunny.
Bunny, thank you. Bleh.
In the bottom left is the blue Terran, having just beaten Ryung. It is ByuN.
Thank you. But going back on that point and ignoring my little gaffe for a moment. Okay, aLive beats Bunny. Bunny's been showing really good promise and a good upswing of games lately, so that's pretty nice. But then, of course, he had beat ByuN, he had beat Innovation. He's really, truly this TvT menace. He's not showing great games versus Zerg and nothing super amazing versus Protoss, but he's still just overall, when he gets to play on the Korean server and he's not fighting at like 4 a.m. in the morning cross server to the Corsair Cup, like when he's playing on his home server, aLive is a really scary Terran.
Yes, aLive certainly is. I feel like maybe we just do not give him enough credit. I think we give him credit to someone who's watched him in the Lima League every week and whatever, but no one's like hyping him up like they do ByuN or Innovation or even Bunny. Like Bunny just had this upswing and suddenly a lot of people are saying he's the next best thing, right?
I think for me personally, and I don't know about others looking at this, it's just that I see the flops in the Corsair Cup. And that, for me, adds in more than his victories do. And again, I know for a fact that when aLive's playing on Korea and he's playing at his best, this dude is a force to be reckoned with. But when he's playing cross-server and he's losing to players that are really not high-tiered Europeans even, you're kind of like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, you know, he's doing well in GSL, but, like, to be honest, so is Keen, right? We watch these 2 guys, I guess, have a lot of flubs in other tournaments, so that's probably why it's not getting as much hype. But.
Well, there's also the fact that I always remember this with Keen, because again, he's another player we see do very badly cross-server, but then, like, he got to play Gfinity offline and kicked everyone's ass. Like, nobody was expecting that. Not out of Keen, of all people.
Like, this is no BM or anything, but I love that you're probably the only person who, like, watched.
I know. Well, that's because I was a pretty big Keen fan. I actually, as far as a fun note about Keen, as far as being a player, I didn't really care much about it, but I learned he was the dude from that GIF doing like the clapping, and I was like, okay, I like that guy. It's because of personality. I'll take it. I basically watched hoping to see something like that at the event. Like, never happened. I felt bad.
You're disappointed, yeah. All right, so the Reaper's taken out by aLive, and that can sometimes be a death sentence, but actually, usually not in these pro games, and not one base versus one base.
What happened to Gfinity? Are they still around? Do they still do things?
No. I mean, Red Eye left, and I don't know if they ever made a formal statement, but I'm pretty sure they're just doing nothing.
I was gonna say maybe they were at least doing Counter-Strike or something. I don't know, but they did not handle StarCraft very well.
No, and from what I heard, it wasn't like their other tournaments were like that much, amazingness either. So
at some point, someone's gonna realize BaseTradeTV is doing it right. Maybe copy our model. Got a great qualifier now, but I'm just thinking, like, we do the $100 cups and we get like literally thousands of viewers more than these big companies with their studio productions. And part of me, of course, is got my EP growing a bit thinking about it, but the other part of me too is like, I wish other people would do it right so that there was more competition. Like I've said it before, I'll say it again. A lot of people think I get salty or I don't like people like Wardy or the Gauntlet, but I want these other groups to do well, not because I'm a big StarCraft advocate who's the saint and angel of esports, because I want competition for BaseTradeTV so that we have more motivation to push ourselves harder and strive to improve more. You guys have noticed I haven't done map intros in forever, so I'm a little bit lazy about it. That's all it comes down to. But if I had to like constantly compete and look to improve our production, I'd be doing 5 map intros a day if I had to.
I kind of missed the 30 seconds of silence.
Well, maybe we'll bring it back for the new season. I don't know.
Maybe.
Cactus Valley at the very least.
A little more important, as it was one base versus one base, something was bound to go wrong somewhere, and aLive starting off with the lack of the Reaper, but then sending his own Banshee across the map means, well, this one gets taken out, and ByuN is going to get an advantage here? No, actually. He gets pushed back by the Cyclone auto turret combination.
Yeah, he's not going to quite be able to pick up that Banshee, which is annoying because that Cyclone's got to be so careful. Gets the lock on from a distance and will clean this up.
So close to killing that Cyclone, and that would have made it better. As it is, ByuN has a bit of an army supply lead, but he is down in workers, so kind of just trading out. His command center's on the low ground, but it's stalled out. Yeah, and it's... I mean, the other plus side to this, too, is at least he'll get mining faster, as aLive will have to move that over still. I think ByuN's going to make up that worker count. I'm not sure how easy it'll be for aLive to make up the army count. Still going for Banshees and still looking for a bit of damage, but it is worth noting that, again, things like army value in TvT does not express the dynamic as much, because one good tank positioning can really it can take on a stupid amount of units. Plus, it doesn't really account for what has been buffed or nerfed lately. So, auto turret, I have to think a lot more. Yeah, auto turret's seriously worth like 10 army supply. I'm just gonna that's my evaluation from its damage it does. It's so ridiculous. Yeah. And it takes it takes about 10 units to deal with it too. That's the other part. Hey, ByuN, he's been playing, I guess, like this. He played like this versus Ryong. Now he's playing kind of like it versus aLive, but being really aggressive with a small amount of units and sending all the units across the map. This is a very dangerous thing to do, because one good drop by aLive, one good Banshee that's controlled very well, and he might be contained, but he also might do like equal amount of damage to ByuN. But it's worked so far. He's still out in the middle of the map, not quite taking him like any damage. In fact, that Widow Mine's gonna pop up from the Banshee potentially, and it just forces it away. Yep. The Raven coming to the main, it's not even going to get that much damage done. Turret and Marines ready to go. aLive does, of course, have some Marines out looking. Where did he just these? Oh, Banshee the main. Banshee the main. ByuN's going to get broken. This is bad because, of course, aLive's looking at the front lines. He's not looking back here. He hasn't pulled the SCVs. He's lost 8 of them so far. Yeah, and the army fight. Yeah, he didn't quite get broken here. The SCV losses were extreme. Takes a few himself, though, so he doesn't pay attention. There we go. There's the pull. That being said, though, I'm more concerned about the tank positioning. If aLive was, of course, the one having nice tank positioning, he'd have no problem pushing this off. But a little bit late to the party, and let's not forget, ByuN can always wrap around and go here and then start denying minerals, not just that gas, and that's exactly what he's going to do next. These are some really good moves by ByuN. aLive is close to taking too much damage here. Gets stalled up by an auto turret, might lose his tank. Will lose his tank. Ooh, that's going to sting. This might be that little tipping point of too much damage. Plus, he's really behind on stim and +1. Yeah, I think aLive's losing this game, and very shortly we'll just straight up have to tap out. I mean, he's doing a good job holding on, but yeah, he is certainly not in a good way. Some of these SCVs are like one shot from dead too. That auto turret could really clean up. Oh, the Viking too. The Viking's doing enough, man. The aLive's not even responding to it fast enough. Forget what I said before. He's like focus firing down the weak SCVs too. This is now really out of hand. Yeah. Oh, apparently ByuN's getting some revenge for the last time they faced. aLive looked strong last series, and he looked strong the last time these two played, which was only like 2 days ago. Yeah. ByuN's back with vengeance. So, this push should be the nail in the coffin. I think the +1 is quite a bit. The stim over no stim, though, is really what's the killer here. Yeah. aLive's walking to his own death. And now walking away, but slowly. And it picks up the tank, too. No chance to set it up like that. Just a stim on top of it. Nice Vader Zim reference, but GG's get called, and ByuN will take the first game in the series. Which is pretty impressive, again, considering last time he got walked over pretty much by aLive. Thank you to Woolander for the 13-month resub. And I just want to clarify something, because some people... I think most of you got what I was saying, but some people definitely took this the wrong way. Like, it is without a doubt that I support Wardy. I think he's a good person. We don't mind hosting him. We've tried to give him casting events in the past and things. Like, there's no bad blood between BaseTradeTV and Wardy, and if you think there is, it's all in your head. And he will probably say the exact same thing. That being said, what I said wasn't meant to be BM either. Wardy's a great streamer. He's up and coming, but he doesn't pull the numbers we do. So I still, like, just objectively in a not BM way, wouldn't consider him direct competition for base trade yet. In the same way that we're not direct competition for GSL, right? Like, I want
I want to have somebody that would propel us and motivate us and compete with us to push us to be direct competition with GSL one day or something like that, you know? But we're not at that tier. We're still on the lower side of grassroots, but we just bring in a lot of viewers.
I was gonna say there's a sound bite that people could really use to slander.
Oh boy, what did I say?
When you accidentally said Wardy instead of.
Oh, I was getting mad at Pommy. Yeah, that was that one
Pommy,
time. But then we even clarified that, right? Anyways, I don't know. My point is, I know we can go further with what we do, but it's so much harder to do when you don't have that motivation.
Latency. It's a killer.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, guys. It's not like I actively look for ways to like cut corners and become lame with base trade, but it's unless you've experienced this, that level of competition, whether it's, you know, a friend competing with a girl or a school for sports or whatever the case, like, you just won't know what that drive is, and it is a certain fire that I miss having lit underneath me, I suppose. But anyways, in the bottom left side of the map, he's down 1 game. He can certainly bring it back. It's the blue Terran player, aLive.
In the top right is the red Terran. He is ByuN.
Now, I gotta say, to a degree, I don't know that aLive would have looked so bad if that was a different map. I think that Overgrowth really does present that opportunity to get quite far ahead with tank kills, especially around that natural base. The complacency towards the end, when the Viking came in, was certainly a killer. Don't get me wrong, that looked bad. But I don't think he would have been put in that position if it was Daybreak, or if it was Cactus Valley, or any of these other maps.
I agree. It seems to be that Overgrowth is one of the snowballiest maps in TvT from the last 3 days that we've cast seemingly nothing but TvTs.
Yeah, and I might not be Korean Grandmaster or anything, but even on my terrible side of StarCraft, I hate that map in TvT. I can never seem to take advantage of it, and I always seem to be taken advantage of on it.
That just explains TvT for me. Like, I can actually take advantage of situations in TvZ and TvP like the pros do, and I feel like an awesome boss. Whenever I try to do it in TvT, like I do a Doom drop, like aLive would do, or I get like an abusive position, like on the old maps, like on Yonsu or something like that, and I'm like, this should be great. I get like counter dropped and I suck, or I just like, he just cleans it up super easy, and I'm like, damn it. Never seems to work out in TvT. I was really good at TvT when it came to the tank of axe, though.
Yes, me too. I'm so mad that they changed it.
I was, like, no one else doing a tank drop. I forgot actually how to tank drop when I wasn't playing for like a month or two. They came back and I sucked, and then I remembered, and I was like, yes, back to like 80% win record. And then they got rid of it. Those bastards.
Yeah. Also, side note, because I'm logged into the BaseTradeTV Twitch alerts, I can't actually look up who this generous soul is, but somebody donated $5 to my personal PayPal account. Thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it. I'm just sorry that I can't look it up and thank you properly because we have the BaseTradeTV stuff open right now.
Well, a proxy starport from aLive.
I'm curious what type, though. Because if this is something like a Liberator, okay, you get there fast. Maybe it's some damage, maybe it's not. This is simply like a medevac to elevator units over. I don't like it. And of course, you can always go really crazy and throw a tech lab on, but not with the way I think he built this. I don't think that's what he's aiming for.
ByuN's pushing out with his army as aLive leaves his base.
Yeah, so it is going to be a Liberator. If he had a Cyclone at home, no problemo, but he doesn't. So these 2 Reapers and a Hellion versus these 2 Reapers and a Hellion. And I think this should actually, funny enough, go better for aLive if that Liberator gets out. Oh no, forget that. There's no wall. ByuN is in a lot of trouble.
Kind of screwed. He's not even producing from his barracks. He really doesn't have anything to deal with this, so no wall. We're gonna be back in the beginning of Legacy of the Void.
Yeah, the SCV's got to surround, though. He's going to try and free himself. The Reaper's
almost.
barely skirted through. Wow, are you serious?
Almost.
Whoa, those guys got blasted right to the same planet that Reaper came from earlier today, but geez, Louise, this gets really messy. Now,
nothing to do with Liberator. He can't even mine.
Oh god, you're right, because he's building a Banshee. Cyclone might be able to lock on, maybe, but that's not even great damage. Was that an SCV? What the was there an SCV?
Yes, it was.
But the big thing was,
but,
he holds on back at home. This Liberator is going to deny so much mining, and you're right, ByuN doesn't actually have the money. If he cancels a Cyclone, he can build a Viking, but right now, he can't do anything. He cancels his tech lab to build a Viking. That's interesting. That's really interesting.
It's a good choice, yeah. The Cyclone will eventually force the Liberator to move, but look how much time is lost. He can't even... I love aLive's positioning, by the way. He could have completely covered the mineral patches on one side, but not the other, so he just completely covers the command center, so you can't even have, like, 4 SCVs mining. I've never thought about doing that. It's pretty clever.
It is.
He's gonna go back in and just sacrifice the Liberator for as much time as she can buy.
She's kind of paying off, though, right? Like, at this point, it's already denied so much money to go to the income graph. I mean, that's almost a good solid minute and a half now where ByuN has not been mining.
Oh, that dip. Oh, Lord. Oh, I got it to 1,200.
And the Banshee's going to go down, too. Cloak finishes up, so it holds on for a little bit longer, but... Yeah, you're right, that dip is nasty. That's in context here, to let you guys know, the difference in money that just happened was about 3 command centers. You want to stack it up like that.
So painful. The only thing aLive really lost in doing this was starport time, and that can be important, but because he did so much damage, I think it's totally fine. He doesn't need a Viking, he dealt with the Banshee fine, he doesn't need a medevac, because he doesn't have to do more aggression, actually. He could just win by being back at home for the rest of this game. Now, this is a tough spot for ByuN. He manages to afford a command center, and obviously a little bit later, at least on location.
I think this is kind of cool, though, at the same time. Like, as a ByuN fan, it sucks seeing him down like this, but on the other side of it, watching how aLive got ahead was really neat. And I really, you brought it up. I'm just going to echo it again, mostly because we have nothing else to talk about right this moment. But I did like the Liberator on the command center. I've never considered doing that, ever. But
yeah,
it's a 100% chance to hit an SCV opposed to like the 50% chance. So again, like little small nuances like that to the bigger fact that this was cheesy, I like it.
I always think I'm so smart mining 5 SCVs. So once the siege of my Liberator, they know they could just put it on my command center.
Yeah, and I guess it could apply to any race too when you think about it. Well, it's hard to get in there. Most other races have a little bit more easy to access anti-air, but Banshee's gonna go down. Ouch. I got 2 subs coming in back to back. Thank you guys so much. We got 7 cocks and can't
You said it.
And Hardbringer StarCraft 2. Thank you both for subscribing to the channel. In these harsh times, we're like in the Dust Bowl right now when it comes to ad revenue. Like, there's no crops are growing, no ads are being shown, and we can't get any money. So your subs are keeping us afloat. Thank you so much, guys.
Just give me, like, 2 like stand-in actor kids, and I'll make that pose, like that woman, very famous picture.
What?
It's a very famous picture, right, where it's like a mother with her 2 kids during the Dust Bowl, and it's like black and white, and she looks very weathered and sad.
Mom, 2 kids, Dust Bowl. I'm tapped out Googling. I've never seen this photo before.
Really?
Never,
it's
ever.
Like all of our textbooks in high school, which would make sense, but I feel like it's just in general kind of a famous photo.
Well, without any exaggeration, that's actually how ad revenue feels right now. So, precise to a scary and uncomfortable degree. The Banshee down here really doesn't have a lot of potential with that turret up, so even if aLive does leave the base with everything as he is, it's not too scary. ByuN's going to see this coming, but what can he really do? Back at home, I guess there are some tanks out, but I don't know. I feel like auto turrets are pretty cool.
The auto turrets are pretty cool. Maybe if he's able to snipe the Raven before he could do anything.
I mean, okay, there's the element that auto turrets are pretty cool, but Cyclones also just deal a freaking lot of damage. So having 2 of them in this army, you throw the auto turrets down, it's not about whether they deal damage or not, it's about whether they soak the hits for the Cyclones to get in position. And already getting a small pick off here is a good start. That Banshee at home, it's a little bit annoying. It's cracked up quite a few kills, but...
Oh, 1 scan would have killed that Banshee.
I know, feels bad. But this is going to pick up and go to the main. Army's going to reposition. Now aLive's in a little bit of an odd spot. I don't think this was a great move out of him.
Yeah, I agree. I think that split up the army just enough, and the Raven auto turrets were just enough.
Well, hold the phone.
Might
Maybe he makes this work. He's going to try desperately to kill the Cyclone. Now those 2 Cyclones here could run into this tank if he was paying attention, but picks up and get out of the main. Trades out for 12 SCVs, and not a bad army trade either. Like, he lost a lot of units, but so did ByuN.
12 SCV is a little bit too much to take. That was effective. There was a chance, though, that he split up the army too much, and that ByuN just was able to do okay with 10 less army supplied.
That's actually what I thought was going to happen.
Yeah, and it worked out, and aLive continues taking leads in this game, and it seems to be a slow death for ByuN. He has stim and he's gonna get medevac soon, so a couple of drops, maybe something could happen. aLive is not. This is also like another difference. Like this is, I feel this kind of highlights to why Overgrowth is especially snowballing, not just because of that one tank position, but because there's at least a ramp somewhere going into the natural on Daybreak. So like aLive isn't just posturing right outside of ByuN's natural. He actually like felt scared enough to pull back to the Zelnaga. But anyways, very slight stuff, and the point is this is still a game about snowballing. aLive's gonna get leads and leads and leads here. That supply depot looks really weird. Is that just me?
It was like charcoaled on fire. I hesitate to say the color because it's 2017, but it was black.
Anyway, why did it do that? It's weird.
I don't know. That was certainly strange. Reminds me of that one spot on Echo that's got the, for no reason, messed up terrain. But aLive's combat shields are about to kick in, so he finally catches up on the Marine front. Speaking of the Marine front, at the front, Marines coming in for aLive from ByuN, but it's going to be pushed back. Tank fire is going to be nice, just enough to just tip things in his favor.
Mm-hmm. Well, aLive isn't getting ahead leaps and bounds because there is a lack of third CC, so this contain is just, you know, it's keeping ByuN scared, but it's not actually containing him off anything that aLive can also have. So.
Well, that's where if aLive's third completes and he moves that over, that's where he starts getting huge leads, I suppose. But
yeah, but it's kind of late, you know, like considering how fast ByuN took advantage of his positioning last game. Like that third CC was pretty instant once he realized he had an advantage. Anyway, or was it the last game or the game before that? Whatever. The point is, it could have been a bit faster, I think. aLive's still in the lead, but as he isn't really gaining a lot of economy, well, I guess he's still winning the income war because he has more SCPs, you know, not leaps and bounds. There's a potential that ByuN can also play the slow game and get a couple of drops. It's just, I think, extending the period of time in which ByuN might be able to come back.
Oh, this push is going to be just too much. That army supply is getting crazy. And I said it before, like, good tank count can help nullify a lot of that. And ByuN is on 6 tanks, so don't get me wrong. aLive cannot just simply attack, move in here, and win. But he's got so much more he can afford to lose than ByuN does.
Right. I really think ByuN takes a chance, though, and does a double drop in the main or something like that. He could do equalizing damage.
Same time, though, he's going to be worried that aLive picks up and Doom drops his main. I mean, he's seen those medevacs. Yeah. He knows there's a lot of them.
Ooh.
That was weird. Did that have a strange echo for you, too?
No.
Oh, well, I'm Batman. Just threw $5. His Terran is the best race. Tell you what, man, I'm so confident in your statement, I bet you a Terran player qualifies today. In fact, I guarantee it.
Chances, risky, gambling.
Oh, so I don't know why that reminded me. You know about the whole SpaceX program?
Yeah.
You hear they're planning to, once they get up there, build a restaurant in space?
I knew this was leading to a joke. No, I did not hear that.
What? Why is that a joke?
Oh, is it not a lead up to a joke? You kind of sounded, it sounded like a lead up.
No, like, have you heard about this?
No, I haven't.
They're gonna have great food, good service, but no atmosphere.
I knew it.
All right, next up, it leaves the main. This ended up being a terrible attack for aLive, and even at the front, he loses out. So on 2 different fronts, ByuN finds a way to fight back. That being said, this still isn't going to win him the game just yet, but this puts him back on even footing, where aLive has now lost his lead.
Well, aLive is reinforcing, and ByuN has to be very careful not to let those tanks get sniped. Every single tank is very important. Every single Viking is very important, and then the Marines, well, those are just kind of fodder. He pushes so far forward, meets aLive's reinforcements, but aLive still decides not to take the fight. That's really weird. The tanks are looking at a Marine of the Zelnaga, but they can't hit him. Oh, he got pushed forward by the other Marine! What a jackass! It's the Zelnaga. Like, it's aLive's Marines. Oh, finally.
My name's Johnny Knoxville, and I'm going to walk towards this tank. All right, 3 medevacs heading towards the main. I guess the defenses are mostly torn down for that previous attack, as bad as it was. There's not really any turrets here to shoot back.
Oh, no, the tanks, please. I joined Siege.
Oh, it's bad. 3. I didn't realize one was popping out as we were speaking either, so 3 tanks go down to this. Marines take a decent Marine fight. They could have gone straight for the SCVs, but he picks up to fly away instead, and this is aLive making up for that previous damage. But I do want to point out and really emphasize that while this goes on, whatever for the army trades, because aLive is on a third base mining, and ByuN is simply mining out of his main.
Yeah. That was really bad to lose those 3 tanks. I mean, he actually still has an army advantage of losing 3 tanks, so I'd like tells you what really could have happened had he saved those, brought them to the front lines, and either sieged up aLive's main or third. Maybe natural if aLive moved his army. He is still going to go for the drop in the main base, and I was talking about this. 1 drop in the main base, and even like 4 more into the third, and aLive could suddenly lose a lot of SCVs.
I'm not gonna drunk. Oh, on the hot scale, I'm a 10.
You're not hearing like a weird ass echo to these donations?
Oh, no, it's the real deal.
All right, well, thank you for that. We'll get to it in a moment. Tank chop at the main is certainly threatening. aLive's got to be careful about this, but he's mined this out. Lifting the command center, giving up this portion of his base, would simply yield the armory. And he's not started 2-2, so I don't think this is a big deal.
Well, it would have been less of a big deal if he had started 2-2.
Well, I don't think he's aiming for it, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
This is a game where it's all about
Okay.
units, and he's trying to really push into ByuN here. ByuN's lifting the third command center, going to try and bring that over, or the first command center to make it the third command center, but the point is, he's going to lose a lot of SCVs while this goes on, and while he's got a nice entrenched position to the corner of aLive's base, aLive has full position in all of ByuN's base.
No, just keep the SCVs. They're not going to do anything.
Oh, jeez. That's going to sting. Third base under attack, though, so it looks like ByuN's going to get a little bit of payback, but aLive quick to respond.
ByuN's doing the moves I'm talking about that could bring him back, though, and all aLive has to do is mess up once. Instantly, 20 SCVs dead. Maybe even a command center dead as long as aLive. Is really messes up, I suppose.
This is
But
neat.
ByuN's getting his third base, technically.
But regardless of that, the Liberators are really cool for me. I mean, you gotta consider first off the game started with Liberators, so it's a little poetic that it might end with Liberators, but whether that's setting up over the bases for harass, or whether it's just a way to take on ByuN's siege tanks, which, let's be honest, aLive's actually been struggling with, I like the Liberator move.
That was a really cool position. This is something that the Marines are going to have a tough time breaking, but not the Liberators.
No, Liberator's just set up, easy peasy. 2 shots a tank.
Oh,
Lap.
you can save him.
He's actually got his own tanks in range to shoot.
Barely saved that one.
Oh wait, there's no upgrades. 3 shots kill tank. Whatever.
But ByuN, I wonder if he hadn't lost those SCVs. But they did end up helping that one tank that popped.
I don't know. So there's 2 problems to that. It's like a double-edged sword, right? On one hand, you lose the SCVs, but then you lose a lot of your production. Like, I think it kind of sucks to lose tech labs and reactors and stuff when you can't afford to rebuild them. But yeah, it also totally sucks to lose like 16 plus SCVs. So I don't know. I think it was a terrible. There's gonna be a shitty situation for him no matter how that played out.
Yeah. Well, he's lost that one time. He had the army advantage. Down by 10 still could be a good fight for him, though, and that's what he's got to hope and pray for. aLive should probably invest into sensor towers now that he's banking money. I guess enough production really did go down that he just couldn't spend it all. I think it'll be a very good maneuver.
Well, thank you, Hirana, for the $10. Just take my 2,000 ads, Kappa. Hirana sounds like Hirona's like evil twin from the Mirror Universe or something.
That's what I was gonna say.
Actually,
Nice. Yeah.
so here's a Mirror Universe question. Okay, this falls under topic of stupid things. Let's deal with it.
Fine.
Let's say in real universe or universe A, you are an attractive girl. Then in universe B, or the Fighting Mongooses, is your mirror self an unattractive girl or an attractive guy?
Interesting. Wouldn't my mirror just be like a different side of me though?
So you say it would be me but backwards. Yo, okay, thanks. That helps us.
It's a mirror universe, man.
Do they know their
Don't you
lefts from
know?
their rights even? Oh, who's lagging out? Not in a moment like this. Don't be Rifkin.
That's why photographs look weird. You're just seeing yourself in like one, you know. It is you.
Korea, why do you keep doing this to me?
Well,
like,
nothing
what?
important is quite happening, so.
I mean, so here's the thing. I wanna say that there's a chance.
Ripkin.
Huh?
Jan called you Ripkin.
Call me what?
Ripkin. Rip in peace.
But okay, wait. Someone else liked that after me though. That wasn't just me. I saw someone else there for a second.
You're imagining things.
Okay. Well, I wasn't sure if it would have mattered though, because I feel like aLive with his control of the economy, ByuN and now having his third possibly just die, which was his main, by the way. Yeah, I think this has been tied up on 1 without a doubt.
Yeah. There was about a minute, maybe 2 minutes, where he really could have brought this back, but it's been a hard game from him since the beginning, and yet he still made it to almost 20 minutes.
I mean, ByuN also had, for a moment there, equalized the supply count too, as far as army value. Not SCVs, obviously, but I gotta say, like, this showing out of ByuN is kind of like the example I'd like to give. When I talk about people being able to take on armies at a disadvantage, ByuN has been doing that for the last, like, 10 minutes.
No. But I cannot see a way that he wins this game. Even if he got a Doom drop into the main base and forced the base trade, it would have to be like a live flying medevacs over Marines, which increases as things get more chaotic, which is why base trade is kind of the only option.
Yeah, for StarCraft 2 content every day, make sure to follow, subscribe, and prayer.
Why would you pray for us?
Because
Pray for us. It counts just as good as
one
money.
prayer equals one sub, or one sub equals one prayer. I don't know. Either way, save the GG's aLive ties it up 1-1. I got my memes backwards. Okay, my streams got
You just
crossed.
gave up on yourself.
Just like
Great
everyone else
ending.
in my life. All right, see you guys in 2 minutes. All right, back just in time for you guys to see Newkirk Precinct. Everyone's saying that Korea did not like my shitty memes and bad jokes, and that's why I got lagged out. And I actually don't have any evidence to say contrary to that, unfortunately.
Yes, the Korean server. The Korean server, not someone in Korea.
The Korean server's doing God's work for you all. It's trying to shut out the bad jokes. Well, unfortunately, I can't stop these dank memes anytime soon.
Can't keep me down.
Spawning here on the bottom right side of the map. It's going to be the Blue Terran player. Has just tied up the series 1-1 in this qualifying match. It's aLive.
In the bottom left is the Red Terran player. He is ByuN.
Now, let me ask you a question there, Zombie. You heard of
Okay,
these?
then.
Have you heard of these guys called TING before?
No, tell me more.
Well, they're pretty awesome, folks. They work in the United States and sadly are only available in the United States. But let me tell you, they're here to help you save money with your cell phone bill.
Don't they work in Canada?
Actually, they do. This is already falling apart. Their office is in Canada. That's where we met them. They have Jesse's been here so many times to talk about how they've tried to expand to Canada, but they can't because of dumb bullshit rules we have up here. God damn it, Canada. But if I'm deadly serious, if you guys are in the United States and you're listening right now, hear me out for a second. This isn't some shill. This is actually like a really cool opportunity, which is why we've been working with them for so long. Because they're not selling you a shitty quality, like low quality product. Ting's actually saving a lot of people money. It's a really good service. I use it when I go to the States. Zombie Grub uses it all the time. And the phone bills can be really low. The big thing is, though, Ting isn't for everybody, and they know that. And they don't want you to think that you have to swap to them to save esports or anything, but if you might save some money with them, it's absolutely worth checking them out over on bttv.ting.com. They've got a savings calculator on there and everything, so make sure to check it out. And, of course, the more people who sign up and use Ting, the more events Ting's going to keep putting on for StarCraft. It's a really nice circle of stuff, sponsorship, events, you name it.
Life.
Yeah, I'm gonna type it in observer chat. This is going on all the channels. bttv.ting.com, y'all. Actually,
Hey.
shilling shoutouts aside, if you guys don't know, they also recently announced that they're gonna be co-sponsoring Total Biscuits tournament for Shoutcraft. So that's awesome.
Yeah. I'm glad they love StarCraft so much.
Yeah, I just wish Jesse was better at it.
Wow.
Nobody clip that and nobody send that to Jess, please. Thank you.
I'm not gonna drunk. Oh, on the hot scale, I'm a 10, baby.
Thanks. Zombie Grub.
Acer313 says, I don't normally donate, but here's $10 for Rifkin's new computer. Kappa. Sadly, even if that was the case, that $10 would go to our mega fundraiser we have going on, not my new computer. But thank you nonetheless.
Well, the builds are both staying on one base. We got maybe Raven versus Raven. Alright. So oddly enough, there might not be a lot of aggressive maneuvers because it's not even like Cyclones involved here. Doesn't really go across the map and do anything. Once they realize it's Raven versus Raven, they might just auto-turret harass each other.
I'm wondering which of these two is more inclined to go down like the innovation route, maybe even get a second Raven. Yeah, I want to say ByuN.
Obviously.
Yeah, it's Senpai Kohai. But aLive is also just playing really well, so maybe it's a tactic that's objectively good, and we'll see him do it. Maybe nobody makes a second Raven at all, and this means nothing. The thing is, though, 2 Ravens has kind of been emerging in TvT recently.
Yep. Yep. Nope. Nope. No second Raven.
No. Not yet. Oh, it's Viking. We've seen through multiple times though just how powerful auto turrets can be, and 2 Ravens seems to actually be funny enough more focused on harassment than having them as part of the core army composition for attacking. But both players playing incredibly defensively, and nobody gonna get attacked anytime soon. They're both even building their command centers in their mains. That's how defensive this is. But it's weird for me to look at ByuN, who's gone for this defensive opening as well, and aLive, neither of which have walled off the front of their base. So had somebody done like 2 Reaper Hellion, there's like no doubt in my mind they would have gotten into the other person's base.
Yeah, usually the consideration is that one base would save you. I think it's funny that, well, ByuN makes total sense. Well, I guess that makes sense for aLive too. ByuN hasn't scouted at all. aLive scouted a little bit, but all he saw was the opener, so that could have been a Banshee or any other variety of like what 1/1/1 can give you, which can be aggressive. So both of them playing defensive makes sense. I think it makes the most sense for ByuN, who just has no idea what could possibly be happening. Finally, he sees a lack of command center on the natural, it only just moving over now, so he knows it was a one-base build. I think it's a just easy. Come on now, Reaper. Double drop.
Picked up. I don't know how much this will get away with. The double drop is a lot easier to deflect, not just with the Raven, but with having that Viking in position. However, aLive does have a lot of Marines ready to go. Nobody has stim, and this isn't going to be something easy to respond to. If he's already on top of it, fantastic. But if he has to stim into this without stim, there's no stim. It's the story at the end.
A little bit awkward. Seems like he's still going to consider it worth it, though. Auto turrets go down. Raven goes down for ByuN, however. But tanks go down for aLive.
SCV's in the dead zone. Going to slowly, but surely, eventually push this off.
Save the tanks. Oh, darn. Not the medevac probably died.
Hello. Goodbye.
What's that worth? It looks like it. Just about.
It's just like noped out of the base.
I'm not supposed to be here.
I don't even know why it was rallied there in the first place. I hope the Cyclone catches it. Teach it a lesson.
Well, that's not nice. It's just following orders. Bye-bye.
So, Gnome Skull Enchant says, I will donate to the Mega Tourney, but I'm waiting to see what the backer rewards are going to be. Some of them are going to be pretty simple and fun. We're actually, the part of why we've had the delay is the very legitimate reason of we didn't want to start promising a bunch of stuff without the house consent and all this stuff. But the other part of it is some of this stuff is going to be kind of extensive. Most of it, though, are going to be things like, hey, if you donated like $5, you're going to get a postcard from people in the house, picture of people in the house, stuff like that. So I think February is the goal for us getting the backer rewards up. Because it'll be about next week when everyone gets back from Nation Wars. We can start actually doing content with the house, which will be fun.
Yeah. Viking does a little pre-scout since he's not a lot waiting. Saw a tank that looked vulnerable, but then saw the rest of the army.
Yeah, looks tasty. Robert Thari, thank you for the $3. Says, sorry you're in the desert, guys. Thanks for making my days go by faster. Thank you for the $3.
Oh, in the desert because of the Dust Bowl?
Yeah.
Does that make it into a desert? Just make it dusty.
I mean, technically no crops grow in the desert, right? So...
But dust isn't sand, right? Like...
I thought the Dust Bowl was used to describe when no crops grow and all the dirt kicks up. But maybe it is just like sand.
And dirt isn't sand.
Well, they're both earth. Like if this is Avatar, I'm pretty sure they can bend both equally.
If lightning strikes dirt, I don't think. Well, no, earthbenders would specialize, right? So it was like a little different to bend sand as opposed to earth. Because there are sand benders in the desert.
But maybe that's just what they call themselves.
Well, yeah, because they.
I mean, Toph could bend everything, man.
Yeah, but I think she even like was better at bending earth, dirt, and metal benders became really good after she died. Oh well, she didn't actually die, did she? Anyway, we're getting way off topic.
Yeah,
Way
they found
too
her in, like
specific
that
about how
cave
much
or
I
whatever with mushrooms and stuff.
Yeah, I guess I meant when she retired from the police force. But anyway, Vikings are gonna find these 2 medevacts, and that's bad news for ByuN. Is his boost on? Yeah, okay. It's off cooldown. And he was paying attention.
Nice Marine scout over here is going to see the tanks moving out too, so it's not a question of like, will he meet him in the middle of the map? He knows there's going to be something somewhere. Vikings still patrolling around the south side. We've got to rejoin with the army though. Not that many medevacs for aLive, but a pretty nice ground army. Both players do have +1. Combat shells being the main key difference, however. ByuN will take a much better Marine fight if that's what it comes down to.
10 more seconds to do that, though. It doesn't look like that's going to be happening. ByuN's trying to spread himself out, though.
Well,
for like a bit of a surround.
Maybe that will happen. A couple of these actually just run away instead, so never mind.
Yeah. I don't think surrounds really work out this way when it comes to, well, this size of the army, I suppose. Like, you'd really have to have a lot of Marines getting us around, and that was just too big of an attempted collapse to really work. I think ByuN's just simply in danger of splitting up his army and not having everything in place. Nothing really happens from that. aLive pulls back. ByuN pushes forward. ByuN's gonna get his equal number of Vikings. I know he's gonna win the Viking War, actually. 3-1. And delay aLive's potential 3rd base, but no one's on 3rds yet. It's a metaphor. We were trying to figure out what the metaphor was.
Vikings getting some shots off in the middle. I mean, all things considered, the fact that this has decidedly been 2 base for each should make this for a very interesting dynamic army fight, but also might just make this like the one-hit wonder to win the game, because there's not going to be a lot of recovery after this, and no one's economy is going to be looking great considering they both essentially mined out their mains. Now, aLive is going to dodge this and go around the north side. ByuN's going to find himself a little out of position. He's got to remove. He's moving his tanks. Tries to catch ByuN's
tanks, but it's so far back. ByuN had a good portion of his army not actually contributing.
His own tanks now actually police out some of this, so ByuN's just going to push forward. Maybe it wasn't intended to become a base trade, but looks like it will be a 2-base trade.
Well, things are starting out pretty damn even for both of them, so we'll see what their positioning is like.
A 2-base trade.
What? Wait. aLive holds his natural. ByuN does not. That's already a huge difference.
Yeah, 22 workers dead, immediately annihilated. Meanwhile, if aLive pulls workers to live, I think it would be worth it, to be honest. It's only 1 tank per defense, and ByuN didn't realize this, so we probably would have gotten in much sooner, but SCV's already on top of those tanks, and aLive is pushing this back with relative ease. ByuN, on the other hand, is held up in his main, but there's no tanks over here. If aLive can just continue to scan and put his tanks like right against his ledge, easy peasy push in. Oh, but it's going to get his tanks caught out. Oh, it's going to be a little bit awkward, but this is also when aLive decides to say, you know what, you shoot the tanks, I want the Marines, and aLive beats ByuN 2-1!
Live!
That will...
Master.
Hey, it's also going to qualify him through, the first Korean to get through our Korean qualifiers. Fantastic. Of course, we had, what we said, Gumiho and Jakshi in the wildcard groups, but aLive taking the first place here in the Korean qualifiers. Very, very nice. But this dumps us down to the lower bracket, which looks like, due to the small delays up here, has started to catch up. You got Solar versus Bunny. You got Ryung versus Trust. Unfortunately, it looks like both of those series are already underway. So we'll try and catch whichever game is like available for game 2 or game 3 first. But at this point, the winner of those 2 will fight each other. Then the winner of that plays against Bunny. So 2 best-of-3s remain. Or not Bunny, ByuN, excuse me. 2 best-of-3s remain at this point, guaranteed, with maybe a bonus 1 or 2 games on the side. But as we said, we got TvT casting in German, Crank covering this in Korean, and of course us here in English. Thank you guys for watching. I certainly hope you've enjoyed the show, but don't disappear. We'll be back in a bit as soon as we have a game ready and available.